with the help of some of the expertise over the online by making use of some of the computer technology softwares and all. So then it will going to assist the executive which is in the top level of the organization. So if I am having only inadequate data and if I am making the decisions over that inadequate data, then somehow that will not going to give the effective way of decision making in the organization. So we are going to use the computer when the humans can't take the decisions. So that is termed as what? Expert system. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Rohini T.S., Assistant Professor, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So in our today's session, we will be discussing about the B.B.A second year, that is third semester, a subject called Management Information System. In short, we will be calling it as MIS. And I am dealing with the module 3 of the session 2. So in the last session of this particular chapter, that is value and cost of information, we have discussed regarding the what do you mean by value and cost of the information, and also I have discussed regarding the types of information system. So within that we have discussed regarding the transaction processing system, that is TPS, and also I have discussed regarding the decision support system, that is also known as what? DSS. So in our today's session we will be continuing with the value and cost of information itself. So we'll see the next topic, that is related to executive support system. As we all know that management is not only consisting of a top level, so it has a middle level and it also has a lower level of the management. So as we all know that lower level will going to get a guidelines and assistance from the middle level, and that middle level will going to get the assistance and guidelines from the top level. Then who is going to help this top level in order to make a business decisions and in order to take any of the actions during the internal or external to the organization? Who is going to guide them? There must be some information system which must assist and helps the decision which has been made by the executive. For that purpose, we are having this type of information system will be termed as executive support system. In short, it will be termed as ESS. Then what is this ESS all about? We'll see now. It is a specialized ESS. I'm using this only for the purpose of decision making. That will going to be done by the higher authority, will be termed as what? Top level management system. So that includes all the hardware, software, data, procedures and people used to assist senior level executives within an organization. So this ESS or executive support system will going to give a guidelines, will going to give the assistance that will going to include all the kinds of hardware, software, and it includes the procedures, what are the things needs to be takes place inside the organization, and the people used to assist senior level executives. So it will going to assist senior level executives within the organization, mainly for the purpose of decision making. It is an enhanced version of DSS. So with the help of some of the expertise over the online by making use of some of the computer technology softwares and all, so then it will going to assist the executive which is in the top level of the organization. So this ESS can also be used by individual further down in the organizational structure. Mainly CEO or a board members, those are all the individual strength. So they know they have to scan the weakness, opportunities, threats of the organization. They have to overcome all those things. Then who is going to help them a lot in order to make a business decisions? Whether it is right or wrong, the information system has to guide them, has to assist them at the best. So for that purpose, we will be having this ESS. This ESS remains in the upper management level where they indicate the important corporate issues, indicate the new directions the company may take and help executives monitors the company progress. So this ESS will going to guide the top level management in order to make or in order to indicate the corporate issues and in order to indicate the new directions the company may take in order to enhance the efficiency of the organization, and also it will going to help the executives in order to monitor the company's progress. So by taking if they are taking a decision that is not only going to last for a day, so whatever the decision which has been done by the top level management will going to be last up to either for 1 to 10 years of span of an organization. So the decision what and all they are making needs to be perfect in nature. So for that assistance for them, there will be guiding system. That information system will be termed as what? ESS, or a executive support system. So now we'll see what are the characteristics it has. So this ESS is mainly an enhanced version of DSS, mainly for the purpose of decision making. So as we all know that if a person is CEO of an organization, their perspective will going to be differ from one CEO to another CEO. So nobody will going to have a same mindset, a same thought regarding their organization or in order to make a decisions. How can we say this as a good decision? So where is a good decision? What are the parameters it has to follow? So sometimes the executives may be right or wrong. That will be depends on the CEO. That means chief executive of the organization, how they are taking the decision, so on what perspective they are looking the problems, so how they are finding the solution, everything will going to matters. Then what are the characteristics it has? We'll see now. It is tailored to individual executives. So you have to understand one thing. So this ESS or executive support system not tailored for any of the individual user. It has been tailored only for the executives, that is for the individual executives. So it is like what? I'm just going to give you the important topics and I'm just assisting you how you are supposed to write the examination. Instead of telling that what will be the question or what is the question has been given in the examination. That is what exactly this ESS is also going to do. It is not going to give the instant or ready-made answers or decision to the executives. Instead of that, it will guide them, it will assist them in order to make a best decision. That is the very important point related to ESS that you have to keep it in your mind. So here also this tailored to individual executive in the terms ESS has been customized for an individual perspective of the CEO of an organization. Next, easy to use. So anyway, this will be used by the top level management. Their time is more precious than the money. So they are going to give the time as a value as to the money, so that it must be easy to use. It should not be very difficult. It should not have any complex configuration while using that. It has to be easy to use in nature. Have drill down abilities. That means when they are making a business decisions which will going to last for 1 year to decades, then the decision needs to be very strong. So for that purpose, they are going to have the data and information which needs to be very particular in nature. So by using this ESS, if it is having a drill down abilities, then it will going to give the data and information that is very particular in nature. So that will going to enhance the efficiency of decision making. Next, it supports the need for external data, and also it can help with a situation that have a higher degree of uncertainty, like if something goes wrong, if natural calamities happen, some war has been takes place at that time. In that situation, this ESS will going to help the CEO or top level of an organization in order to handle those uncertain situations in the organization and have a future orientation. So by looking into the historic data, or by making the business decisions which has been take place in the earlier days, by analyzing all those things, this ESS will going to give the best suggestions to the CEO of the organization in order to have a future orientation, because the decision making will going to place a very important role in the organization. If that goes wrong, everything will goes wrong in the organization. So that it has to be very future oriented. So it has to help the future days of the organization. Next, are linked with value added business processes. This will going to be the characteristics of ESS. Main thing is what? It improves the thinking ability of the CEO, and it needs to be very flexible, and it must be easy to use. It must be user friendly. It has to be all these points you have to write for the characteristics of ESS. We'll see the next thing, that is benefits or advantages of ESS. By having this ESS, what are the benefits we can have? What are the advantages it will going to provide? We'll see now. So it do not require extensive computer experience, because if you are a CEO of the organization, surely you must know how you are supposed to use the computer system, so that it will be easy in nature in order to use, or it will be user friendly. So no need to take much tension regarding usage of a computer. So all these technologies or software, whatever they are going to use in the ESS, will be somehow simple in order to utilize the time of the CEO in the proper manner. Then it provides timely delivery of company summary information. So main thing is what? That CEO is going to play a very important role. For them, time is very precious. They can't have more time in order to do the analysis, in order to revise, or in order to check each pages of a book or any of the data how they have been stored. So for that purpose, this ESS will going to give the timely delivery of the company summary information, maybe for an year, for a month, for a week, for a days, for a particular hour. So all those summary, if it is getting to the CEO's hand, then it will be easy for them to make a best decision. Next, it provides better understanding of information. So anyway, it will going to be presented in a summary information manner, so it will be easy for the convenience and it will be easy to understand. Then it helps in filter the data for better time management. As I said, if it is a summary information, no need to look at every sheets of the data and information, how it has been stored, how the data has been processed. No need to do anything. So just if they are looking to the summary of the information, then that will be easy for them to understand what is happening in the organization. Then it will going to provide system for improvement in the information tracking. So if we are keep on tracking the information, how it is processing, how the data are drastically or somehow changing in the market, what are the actions to be takes place, if you are getting know everything, then it will be easy for the executives in order to make a best decision. By keeping all those things, we have to get these kind of advantages or benefits of having this ESS in the organization. We'll see what will be the disadvantages of having this ESS. So now we got to know that time is like money. So we have to give main importance for the management of the time. But what are the disadvantages can we have with this ESS? We'll see now. Computer skills required to obtain results. If I don't know how to summarize the data, if I don't know how it is giving the result, and if I don't know anything about the computer, I can't make a best decision for my organization. So that computer skills also required for decision making. Then it requires preparations and analysis time to get desired information. I can't get it that summary information by my own. I have to do the analysis. I have to integrate all the data and information which is available. Then I have to prepare and analyze the things which I need to spend some time in order to get the desired information. Next, detailed oriented provides detailed analysis of the situation. So if I am spending more time for getting the detailed data, then only I can analyze in a best manner. So if I am having only inadequate data and if I am making the decisions over that inadequate data, then somehow that will not going to give the effective way of decision making in the organization. Then it will be difficult to quantify the benefits of DSS. I can't say this. If I'm getting a suggestion from DSS, that could be goes wrong sometimes. So that I can't quantify the benefits of DSS, how this decision best or how this decisions suits well with my organization or enterprise, whether it is a best decisions or not. We can't predict that. That will be based on the market, how my competitors will be, everything will going to be matters. So here it will be difficult to maintain the database integrity. As the data grows day by day, if the data is adding in nature, somehow it is difficulty. That means data integrity in the sense what? If I'm adding some content to the database, that should not harm the content of existing database. If it is harming or if it is creating some interrupts in between, somehow that will going to lead to the failure of the ESS. Then it provides only moderate support of external data and graphics capabilities. So it will going to give you the moderate support of external data. It is not going to give you the excellent support of the external data. Instead of that, it will give only moderate level of external data support. So whether it is right or wrong for the organization, that CEO of the organization or a person, one who is making the decision, has to obey his decision throughout the days. This is regarding disadvantages of ESS. Now we'll see what are the characteristics it has. So if I compare to the degree of use, how can I use this ESS? That is high and it will be consistent in nature, and computer skills required very low. If I know to moderate, like if I know to compute, if I know to analyze, if I know to summarize and all, that much is enough. And then flexibility will be high. Then its principal use, it will going to have a control over the data and it will going to keep on tracking the information. Then decision support will be, it is related to upper level or top level management, and it is going to support the unstructured data. As I told you, it will guide you how to make a best decision, but it will not going to give you the instant or ready-made decision. Then data supported will going to be company internal and external data will going to be supported by this ESS, and output capabilities, it will going to generate or it will going to summarize text kind of data, tabular form, graphical, table. So that kind of output will going to be generated. Next, graphic concentration will be high and presentation style will be very high in nature. Then data access speed must be high and it has to be fast in response to the decision making. The person, one who is making a decision, it has to be available with a fast manner. This is regarding what? ESS or executive support system. We'll see the applications of ESS. Where and all can we use this ESS? So what are the fields where I can apply this ESS concept? That is in the field of manufacturing. That is what converting of a raw material into some finished goods will be termed as what? Manufacturing. So this ESS will going to take care, or this will going to support and guide the executives in order to make every level of the manufacturing goes very smooth. And we have a marketing. So when it comes to the marketing executives' duty is to what? So in the field of this financial executives has to think about the cash flow in the trends and technologies of the organization, and it has to think about the liquidity of the amount. So they have to take care about how the best utilization of a minimum cost with effective decision. So these are the applications or the fields where we can apply this ESS or executive support system. We'll see the next topic, that is formal versus informal information system. When I can say this information system is formal and informal in nature, we'll see now. So if you consider the information system or information processing system, so mainly it has it consists of both public system and private system. So within that private system and within that public system, we can have both formal and informal, and for public I can have both formal and informal kind of information system. So what is this public information system? So it is mainly used being known to relevant person in the organization and available to all who have authority to access the information. These kind of information which is public in nature will be available to all, and it will going to be reached to the person who is authorized in nature. Only the authorized people can access this, but it will be available to everybody. Then private systems are kept by individual. It is confidential in nature and it will not going to be accessed by a person, one who is not authorized. Then within this public and private support system or public and private system, within that we have either formal or informal. Then now we'll see what is this formal information system consist of. So this is relating how the data and information has been reached to the user, in what format it is reaching to the usage. So when it comes to the formal information system, it is manifested by documents. If I am calling this as a formal information system, it has to be well organized and it has to be managed or manifested by documents, and it must be records, usually indicating the compliance with the free specified rules and procedures of the organization. So this formal applications or a formal system has to follow the well organized documents, and it has to be follow in order to obey the rules and regulation of the organization. But when it comes to the informal information system, it will process the information that is vital to the organization function but without format records of that process. So in this informal type of system or informal information system, it is not dealing with any of the formalities of the organization. Instead of that, it will just going to have a informal, that is which is vital to the organization function but without format records of that process. It is performing all the operations, it is taking all the actions in the organization, but it is not taking place as the formal information system. So here you can see the difference between a formal and informal, and somehow it is important question for your examination also. So when it comes to the formal system, it is a system that is designed and developed using a set of well-established organized policies, procedures and principles. So if I am calling this as a formal system that has to obey the rules and regulation of the organization, along with that it will going to have a set of well-established organizational policies and procedures will be there and principles will be there. But if we are considering this informal system, it is not going to follow any of the policies, procedures and principle of the organization. And this guidelines to coordinate and facilitate the communication which will going to take place between different functional units and the process they support, and to meet the overall information which is needed by the business. What are the technologies are required, what are the supports, or how to meet the overall information system within an organization or within the business. Everything needs to be follow this companies or organizations policies and procedures and then principle. This is related to formal system. So next we have a informal system. So as the name indicate, informal system is not going to obey or it will not going to have any set of well defined organizations, principle, procedures and its policies. We'll see about this. Informal is the system which will created by ad hoc and informal work groups to support information which is needed that cannot meet by the formal system. Whatever is not happened in this formal system will going to be takes place with the help of this informal information system. But here we are not having any well mannered or well established documents or the policies or procedure for the organization. Instead of that, they are meeting the goals and terms of the organization without maintaining all these policies, procedures and principles. But this will going to be created with the help of ad hoc and informal work in order to support the information which cannot be done with the help of this formal system. And these are the powerful system that meet the unique need of the organization. So when I can't do anything with this formal system, can be done with the help of this informal system. This informal system do not follow any formal or pre-established rules for collecting and processing and storing or disseminating of the data. So they are simply doing or they are simply satisfying the requirements of a customer, their needs, instead of having all these well established rules for storing the data, capturing the data and storing of the data. This is related to difference between formal and informal information system. We'll see the next type of information system, that is knowledge work system. As the name indicates, knowledge work system. So we are making the computer active, we are making the computer to think on its own. So by making use of this knowledge, as I told, knowledge is nothing but it is a collection of information. It is an integration of well established information. So it will mainly relies on the office system by using word processor, and it has a voicemail and it has a email and video conferencing will be there, and it will going to have a scheduling system which are designed to increase the worker productivity in the office. So knowledge work system, already employees has their own or unique knowledge, but in order to enhance that or in order to improve that, it will going to provide some of the office system termed as word processor, voicemail, email, and we have a video conferencing, and we have a voiceover, we have some scheduling systems, so which are mainly designed in order to improve the efficiency of the workers of the organization. So this knowledge workers and also require highly specialized knowledge work system with powerful graphics analytical tools. So they should not have only knowledge, or they should not have only specified knowledge skills. So along with that, they also require some powerful graphic. Then only they can analyze the system, they can produce the system analysis and design in a well manner. So they must know the powerful graphical analytical tools and communications and document management capabilities. So if they are having all these things in their as the bucket of capability, at the time this knowledge work system will going to help them a lot in order to improve their efficiency and effectiveness. So this system requires sufficient computing power to handle the sophisticated graphics or complex calculation which is necessary for the knowledge workers as a scientific research and finance analyst. So if you wanted to be a knowledge, like if you wanted to be a scientific researcher, or if you wanted to be a financial analyst, at the time you should not only know how to use the computer. Instead of that, you have to understand how the graphics will going to work. How can I bring my data into output form? So in what form I can produce the result? It needs to be very user friendly in nature. By looking into that information, the user has to understand without reading anything. So that you have to bring in this knowledge expert system or a knowledge work system. And for what purpose I can have this knowledge work system? So mainly it will going to have a artificial intelligence. We are making a computer think. That means we are making a computer smarter. It has to think and it has to take its own decision by giving the data. By taking the data as an input, it has to analyze by its own and it has to make its own decision. So artificial intelligence which comes under this knowledge work system, it is a very important thing which comes under knowledge work system. We are making a computer active. We are thinking that computer has to think on its own. It has to make its decision by its own. So this artificial intelligence will going to consist of computer based system that attempt to emulate the human behavior, how the human will going to think. So what are their tastes, what are their strength and weakness. In the same way, everything needs to be developed, needs to be integrated to the computer system, will be termed as what? Artificial intelligence. We are making a system more active than the human in order to reduce the working burden of the human. So this artificial intelligence or a knowledge work system will going to include CAD or CAM system. That means computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing. So this CAD or CAM, that is what computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing, this will going to help in order to create and redesign on the things which is not really exist. For example, you are going to have a blueprint of the building instead of building it initially. That means you are going to get the blueprint, how they are going to do with the help of this CAD and CAM software or a system. And also we have a virtual reality, that means VR. So that is related to 3D. So this virtual reality will going to help a lot in the medicine field and in the field of research. And also we have a investment workstation. This will going to analyze the financial stages of the market. So by all looking into all these things, main intention is what? We have to bring the knowledge to the best form. So then that will going to help the manager or any of the executive in order to make a best decision with the help of this already existing data, already analyzed data, in order to have a best decision making. Next we have a expert system. This is also important question. What do you mean by expert system? Or write a note on expert system. What is this expert system is all about? It is an intelligent computer program that uses knowledge and interface procedure to solve out complex problems that require significant human expertise for their solutions. So we are going to use the computer when the humans can't take the decisions. So that is termed as what? Expert system. This expert system will going to think beyond the human thinking. So by making use of this computer program, so it will going to have a knowledge and interface procedure in order to solve any kind of real-time problem which cannot be somehow solved by the user or a human. It will going to think beyond the knowledge of the user. With some of the algorithms will be used, some of the technologies and technique will be used in order to get the resultant. So it is a computer that emulates the decision making capabilities of the human experts. So if you consider the example of sensors and all, so if you are stepping to the door of that sensor, automatically it will going to open. So instead of keeping one security in front of the door, if you are having this expert system, and you can take the example of microwave oven, at the time if time limits reaches, at that time automatically it will going to off. That means we are going to have some of the automated tools in the electronic gadgets. Everything is works under the condition of this expert system, and also it is simple in nature and it is easy to use and it will be faster and it is mainly automated. It does not require any human intervention in order to operate all these electronic gadgets or in order to operate all these things which is related to the expert system. So why we are going to have this expert system? Mainly in order to solve a real problems which normally would require a specialized human expert. For example, if a person is operating, the person one who is expert in the particular area of a medicine could not come and to meet that or to operate that patient at a particular time. At that time, what they are going to do? They are going to get a suggestions from the doctor which is already expertise in that particular system, and also they are going to get a suggest from this expert system. This expert system will going to guide the things, or it will going to guide the real problem in order to get a best solution. Then where and all can we use this expert system? On what fields we can use that? In the field of wide range of problems can be solved or can be minimized with the help of this expert system. It can be used in the field of medicine, mathematics, engineering, and in the field of geology and computer science and business law, defense, mainly for the purpose of education. So these are the applications of this expert system. Mainly in order to think like a human, we are going to have some of the computer program which will going to have a combination of knowledge and interface procedure in order to minimize the workload of a human, and it will going to think beyond the human with the help of some of the technologies and techniques along with the computer programs called algorithms and all. So this is regarding this module 3. So now we'll see what are the components it includes. These components of the expert system include user interface, inference engine, explanation facility, and it has knowledge base. So by integrating all these things, this expert system will going to provide a solution for the real-time problems. So next, we can see the characteristics of this expert system. So it includes high performance, and it has an adequate response time, and it has a good reliability. We can trust this system, and understandability will be high, and it is very flexible in nature. It can have a ability to add, delete, and sort the content which is exist in the system, and it has a well explanation because we are replacing the human expert in the place of, that means we are replacing this expert system in the place of expertised human. So that means it has to have a capability to explain how this thing has been happened. So that is related to what? Explanation. So it has a high performance. It must be very reliable in nature. We have to rely on that system, and understandability must be good, and it needs to be very flexible in nature. This is regarding what? The characteristics of an expert system. And also we are at the end of a module 3. Here I have some of the important questions for you. So surely this will going to make you help in order to get good marks in your examination. So you can take a screenshot of it. Here I have listed out 15 marks as well as 10 marks questions and also 5 marks questions. So these are the most frequently asked questions from this module 3. I hope you all understood. In my next session, I will be discussing about the module 4, that is planning information system. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.